Marcy wants to take this one.
Let's just set the stage for things that she has said, and then you can chime in. How's that?
Yeah.
She has come out as a transgender woman who says that she's heterosexual, which means that she loves women. So
those are her statements.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And she I'm sorry, she drives me crazy. I think she's confused. Also, politically, she's a Republican, which, you know, everyone has their right to vote as they will. But if, in fact, she is a transgender woman, one would maybe think that she would want to pick politicians who wouldn't be trying to
Kill her.
or at least keep her out of the right bathroom. Yeah.
I will say this. I weep for her.
But your mascara's
I
coming
wouldn't be where I am today, and that's what I write about in the book, without the love and support and the desire to try to understand. Marcy did not have this on her radar at all, because I was really good at hiding it until it literally erupted out of me in a hurricane of confusion one morning. I tried to keep it under lock and key for a really long time, and my body just revolted on me. It just took over, and one morning I spilled it all out to her in just a hysterical fit. Marcy saw me melt down before her very eyes. She had tried to have me cured with a homeopath. Right?
I said I had a long way to go.
Right. But she went there. Right? She put light and love and laughter as a torch into the darkness to solve her problem. I wish Caitlin had someone do that for her, because she has always been supposed to have the answer. She's still running her life the way that I learned to run my life, to act as a leader of men in the boys' world. But once I could not have to do that anymore, I dropped that like a hot potato. Right? So she won't take the time to listen to her own heart. She's in charge of a media empire, and I've been through the meat grinder called reality television. I know what it is. I know how much of that footage is on the floor. So she's pretty bold as an executive producer of that show to let her look like such a freaking idiot on camera. Okay? So she still has a hand in that. That's not, no one's doing that to her. She's doing it strategically. So she is smart. I wish she would shut up. That's it.
We have to talk about issues of consciousness raising. It's important that there are different kinds of role models, if you will, role models that you want to emulate and role models that you should be interested in. And by modeling, I mean that we need to be aware that there's always a spectrum of identity. And so what we want to do from anyone who's put in front of us and uses a position of power like Kate has, we want to be aware, whether you agree with her or not, there's value in presenting the story. In the same way that you don't have to agree with these women. You don't have to agree with anything that was said today. That's not their message. Yeah. I'm a teacher, I have eyes in the back. Yeah, you do. But you don't have to agree with any message that's ever presented. What you want to do is raise your consciousness. What you want to do is evaluate the messages that are told to you through the filter that makes best sense to you. And so what you want to do is be able to take the stories that are being told to you from people like Marcy, from people like Scottie, and also from people like Kate and other models with which you're given, and filter out what message will make the best sense for you. So I say in this, we want to appreciate that there's money and power behind an identity like Caitlyn Jenner, that there's a public consciousness around somebody like Caitlyn Jenner in a different way than there would be in the world that Scottie influenced prior to this pathway. Right? Caitlyn Jenner been on our radar since the 1970s. Yeah. In many ways, that was the story that could at least make sense to Omaha, to use the metaphor.
Very true.
Right.
That's the story that could make sense. They could go, wait a minute, let me try to get my head around this. Doesn't mean you have to dive in head first and understand or appreciate. It just means you have to have consciousness raised. So it is very important, I think, that we get all kinds of stories told to us, whether we go in head first and have buy-in. So I think it's an appropriate question. I think the response, because it's very positioned, is appropriate. But I'd always want to say to you, your job is not to be her or me or Dr. Prasad or Caitlin. It's to be you and figure out where all of this falls in your sense of the world.
Yeah, and we're grateful because she's shown a light.
Right.
The speed with which awareness of transgender has now gotten into the mainstream has been, it probably would have been years, maybe decades, before it would have this much appreciation.
There's no denying that the position of power the platform has been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But we can unpack that even more, because both Scottie and Caitlyn Jenner were white men at one point. So we need to unpack that position of power and privilege. So would we be talking about transgender issues if Caitlyn Jenner had been a woman of color? That's a question I don't know the answer to, and I wonder if you do, because I just don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see what the conversation would be when we unpack all those multiple layers of identity. It's really important to understand that she's just not trans.
And thank you for lifting it higher, because that's the reason why I kind of hesitated. Not obviously, but we get this question at every time we speak. And I don't want to disparage someone. The journey is hard. It's not easy. Every day I wake up, I am completely rewiring my entire, instruments that I use to regard the world. So I know she's got to be going through that. And even if she's denying that part of it, I know how much effort it took. I lost 40 pounds coming out.
Maybe I should be trans.
Yeah,
There's got to be an easier way.
Gotta be an easier way.
I was talking to my hairdresser this morning, and she goes, I read in your book that just because you went on estrogen, you lost 40 pounds. I hate you. How come? And I said, whoa. I lost 40 pounds because I wasn't carrying around armor that I had built my entire life. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. I mean, I was always constantly in fear that I would out myself to the woman I loved and that I would hurt her. I want that to be clear. I don't want anybody thinking that I was afraid of Marcy leaving me because I knew she never would, not because of anything other than I knew what our love was. So this is what I mean about it gets better, is that if you go through anything difficult, if you can hold on to what your heart is telling you, it doesn't lie. Your brain will come up with any reason you want to do whatever it is that you want. It'll justify heroin abuse, justify making $1 million. It'll do whatever you ask it to do. But your heart's not going to lie. And my heart said that Marcy and I, if I could figure this out, we would get through it. I didn't want to hurt her, though. That's why I hesitated for 26 years.